Hello everyone and welcome to Friday. It's been a while. No, not the vlog, I'm not talking about the vlog. I'm talking about Windows. It's been a long time since I have installed Windows. In fact, Mallory and myself have went without Windows, without even booting up Windows for about 2 years maybe? And before that, the only time we ever booted up Windows was to play games. There was a time in Colombia I was booting up Windows to play like Tomb Raider. No, that was about it. But we're installing Windows because there's some LP stuff that we'd like to do that would require Windows, and also because some of the Saturday game nights that we have with friends requires Windows. Just for the fact that there's games that we'd like to branch out to and we can't. So we're installing Windows. I only have 2 legit versions of Windows. Well, I might have 3. I might have a copy of XP somewhere, but I have a version of 7 and Vista, and I'm installing Vista. I mean, not that Vista's like the scum of the earth, it's just generally frowned upon, especially when you have something like 7, which is actually really, really good. But I don't have 2 copies of 7. But I do have 1. I'm going to put the copy 7 on my computer just for the fact that I'm going to be using Windows more than Mal. Probably. Now, because this is a Hackintosh, we don't have access to Boot Camp. Or maybe we do, I don't know. Whenever I built my Hackintosh many years ago, we didn't have access to Boot Camp, so I just kind of assume that we still don't. So the way we have to do it is install a separate hard drive, and then whenever we start our computers, the bootloader that would normally send us into OS X detects that there's a Windows installation and then lets us choose, which is really nice. Or if you don't have a bootloader, or if your bootloader sucks and you can't detect it, you can usually use your motherboard's boot menu, which I had to do on this old computer occasionally, so hopefully it won't do that anymore. The biggest issue is that it's not as easy as putting a hard drive in your computer and just throwing Windows in there. Windows is kind of a jerk. Windows has to be the only operating system in your computer. It absolutely has to be the only one. And what I mean by that is, if I have my Mac drive hooked up, even if it's, you know, it's just hooked up in there, and then I put in this other blank hard drive so I can install Windows on it, when I go to even try to install Windows, when I go to format the other hard drive, it's going to say, whoa, this isn't primary, and it won't let you install. So the only way to actually get Windows to install onto a Hackintosh is to unplug the other hard drives. So Mal's got 2 other hard drives already in there. I had to unplug them. Then I can put the hard drive in for Windows, install Windows, then I can hook everything back up. The biggest problem for all of this with Mal's computer is that the video card barely fits into the case. It's a gigantic video card, and unfortunately it covers up where the hard drives are, because this was kind of a cheap, crappy case. It was the first computer I ever built. So every time I have to change out a cable, I have to unplug everything, pull out the video card, and then change it. Yeah. Well, we've gotten a little further. Finally got Windows installed, and also the cables for the monitors were backwards because this was the primary monitor, so I switched them, so that should be fixed. And then it didn't have internet access by default, so I had to get all the necessary drivers for everything on my other computer, put them on here, installed them, restarted, and now it looks like this. So we got 2 monitors, so that's good. Now I've updated, or I've downloaded Google Chrome. Fun fact, I think I've only ever used Internet Explorer to download Google Chrome. The only site I ever go to on Internet Explorer is google.com/Chrome, at least in the last few years. So now we have Google Chrome, and then I downloaded Steam, and I'm just waiting on Steam to install. It just says updating and installing, and it's done that once all the way through and then stopped, and now it's back. And these progress bars aren't very helpful because they just slide all the way to the end. I don't know if that's a Vista thing. Probably not. It's just a thing happening. We just don't know how big it is, right? It's not a Vista thing, because that wouldn't make any sense. Anyway, this should be done in a minute. And got it. Steam is downloading Grand Theft Auto episodes from Liberty City, which is one of the games that we're going to be doing for game night. More or less trying to itch a Grand Theft Auto bug that everyone has until 5 comes out. Well, maybe not everyone, but definitely me, because I'm really excited about 5. The downside is that it is incredibly late, really late, because I was working on some other stuff. So I'm gonna have to not worry about doing my computer tonight and worry about it tomorrow. We play tomorrow night, and apparently it takes about 4 hours to download. So I need to make sure I give myself at least 4.5 hours to download this. Or maybe move a backup of Mal's game files to my computer. I don't know. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Kind of a weird one. If you want to discuss something, maybe discuss how often you use Windows if you're a Mac user. And you can flip-flop that, but I just don't feel like that's going to be viable if you flip-flop it. I mean, if you're a Windows user, how often do you use Mac? I guess that's kind of, I guess you could still answer that, but it's probably, I have a feeling it's going to be like never. Like people that use Windows computers use Windows computers. But maybe you're in a special position where like at work you use one and at home you use the other. I don't know. I'm not looking to start any wars. God knows we don't need any of those. But, you know, talk about when you use the other, because we haven't used Windows in like 2 years. So this is the first time I've installed it in a long, long time. Thanks for watching, and let's move back tomorrow, shall we? Go to their channel or their Facebook page or Twitter. I'll put a link down below, or here on screen. Why do I not remember I can do things like that? I'm an editor. Anyway, that is the new logo.
For my help.
You saved me, Uncle Scrooge!
Uncle Scrooge!
I did. How you hunt, lad?
Nah, I'm fine. But I saw Louie heading up the stairs with about 1,000 Beagle Boys right behind him.